So hello guys, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be focusing on some mobility and gentle stretching of the neck and the shoulders. So if you spend a long time sitting in front of a computer or working, sitting down, or maybe driving, and sometimes even standing, you can get quite a lot of tension in the neck and the shoulders. And this doesn't have to be because of physical stress. It can also be if you're having to concentrate quite a lot, or you are quite stressed anyway. We tend to hold a lot of tension in our traps in our necks anyway. So that's kind of the pattern we tend to see when people have had a really hard day at work. Maybe we've got like headaches sometimes, and that can all stem from having a really stiff neck and shoulders and tight shoulders from being stressed. So we're going to have a little look at what we can do mobility wise to keep that neck mobile, and we're also going to look at doing some gentle stretches just to see if we can open up and maybe optimize that neck mobility. So if we are playing sports or we're doing things that require us to move our neck, we want to make sure that number one, it's stable and safe, but number two, we are not closing down in terms of our ability to move it. The neck is so important in terms of stability for balance, and even our visual fields and all these different things can be influenced by how much range of movement we've got in the neck and how our neck moves. So it's a very, very important area. So we're just going to start off with a bit of gentle mobility. So what I want you to do is get yourself into a sitting position. You can sit on a chair, you can sit on the floor, however you feel comfortable. And the main thing is we're first going to work sitting up, so we have got gravity involved, and we're going to look at just doing a bit of mobility. So the main difference between mobility and stretching is mobility involves us moving within the normal range of movement. Stretching tends to be holding at the end of range. So what I want us to start off with is sit nice and tall. So at my chest, I'm just going to bring my chest up, pull my stomach in, just so I'm up nice and tall and comfortable. And I'm just going to look over to the right side, and then look over to the left side. I'm not trying to push my head too far to begin with. I'm just taking my head as far as it feels comfortable to on each side. So going back over to the right side. Moving back to the left side. Quite a nice thing to do here is to use your sight or your vision or your focus point as your measure of range of movement. So I'll look over to one side, and what I'm trying to do is see if I can look across a little bit further. So now I'm just going a little bit further with my neck, turning around, but I'm not doing anything that causes any stress or any strain in the neck. But I am just turning my head that little bit further so I can look around and see more. Do that a couple more times. Remembering to breathe as well as we do this. And then bringing my head back to the center. And what I like to do is just give my shoulders a bit of a shake between each stretch. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my ear down to my shoulder. So I'm not going to, again, look for a really big movement with this. And especially if you have got a stiff neck, you're not going to want to do that anyway. So what I'm doing is lowering my head down to one side. I'm just allowing my neck to bend, laterally flex to the side. Once again, you can bring your attention back to your breathing. So as you breathe in and out, you become aware of your shoulders, the sensation of your neck. As you breathe in, you become aware of it. As you breathe out, you let go of any tension. Then I'm going to bring our head back to the center. I'm going to move across to the other side. So just letting my neck or my ear come down towards my shoulder on the other side. And if you do this in front of the mirror, you might instantaneously see some differences. So you might see that you've got more range of movement in one side than the other. And that does tend to be quite common. Most people have like a favoured side. Back to the middle again, over to the other side. And once again, once I've taken it over to one side, I kind of get a feel for where I won't say the end of range with any kind of pushing, but I'm just aware of where my neck wants to naturally stop without me needing to push it. And one last time on the other side. And then back to the middle. Okay, I'm going to give my shoulders a bit of a shake as well, once again. And now I'm going to take my attention to my shoulders. So our trapezius muscles, big muscles across the top of the shoulders here. This is where we get a lot of tension sometimes, like I say, if we're stressed or if we're particularly concentrating hard. And then if we do get shoulder injuries, our traps like to take over to try and assist us. But very often what we want to try to do is relax these muscles at the back. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to become aware of how tense these are. So what I want you to do is I want you to actually lift your shoulders up and I want you to tense your traps. And you're actually going to create that tension in the shoulders, hold it up there, and then relax them down. And as you relax them down, just feel how nice it feels just to let that tension go. So you can just sit nice and tall. Once again, I'm going to bring them up again. So I'm going to tense my traps. I'm bringing them up towards my ears, creating some tension. If it helps, you can clench your fists as well. So you've got that tension all the way down the arm. Hold it for like 10 seconds or so and then relax. And as my shoulders drop, I just feel them drop away from the ears, sit nice and tall with my neck, and just feel that nice sensation of being nice and relaxed in the shoulders. I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to take my shoulders up, squeeze my hands, everything's tense, holding it, and relax down. And I'm just going to gently move my neck side to side. Once again, I'm going to let my neck hang low, gently move it side to side there. And then I'm just going to bring my head up. So we're just going to move now up and down. Now, if you get any sort of symptoms of dizziness, be careful with this, just because for a lot of people, looking upwards can make them feel dizzy sometimes. But what I'm going to do is just going to move my head and let it roll back. Open out my neck. And then I'm going to bring my head forwards and just give it a little shake just down below. So now I'm going to feel the stretch down to the base of the neck, just around the shoulders and where the traps are. Once again, bringing my attention back to my breathing, taking my head upwards. I can even give it a wiggle side to side here. Okay guys, we're now going to finish the sitting component with a little bit of overpressure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my natural, the lateral flexion one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my head to one side. I'm going to take my hand. I'm gently just going to place my hand on the top of my head. And then what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to reach with my arm out to the side. And I've done this before on some of the videos. I'm just going to have a play with moving my hand. So I'm rotating my hand forwards and backwards, just stretching out with that arm. And that's just going to give me a deeper stretch into the shoulder and the neck. So I'm just moving my hand around. I can lift my arm up and back down. And I'm just giving it a bit of a gentle overpressure into the neck. I'm going to bring that hand back in, and then I'm going to release the head, and I'm gently going to push my head back up to the center, give my head a bit of a wiggle again, and then I'm going to go over to the other side. So I'll let my head fall over to the other side. Once again, a little bit of gentle pressure first of all, just using the weight of my hand. I'm then going to reach out with the other arm, so I'm reaching straight, so I feel the stretch down the shoulder, down into the arm, and I can just be moving my hand around just to get more of a stretch down into the arm. And this is going to give my nerve a bit of a move around and stretch as well. So the nerves that go from the back of the top of the neck, all the way down through the shoulder, all the way down into the wrist and the fingers is also going to be getting a nice stretch here as well. So I can bend my arm up, I can wiggle my fingers. I'm just getting that stretch into the shoulder. Once again, when I release it, I'm going to bring my hand back first, release my head, and then gently push my head back to the center and give my neck and shoulders a move around. Now you can do that a couple of times on each side if you want. The choice is yours. And now we're going to go to a bit of passive stretching. And one of the ways we're going to make that passive is by lying down. So if you feel more comfortable with a pillow under your head, you can do, but I'm going to show you just a way of doing it with no pillow, just so you can see where my head is. So what I'm going to do to start off with is I'm going to lie myself down on the floor. I'm just going to place my head on the floor, nice and relaxed. And the first thing I want you to do is bring your attention to your breathing. So if it helps, you can lie with your legs straight. You can relax your hands, get yourself nice and comfortable. And I'm just going to bring a bit of awareness to my shoulders, to my neck. And very often, if you spend a couple of minutes here, just taking some deep breaths and allowing your shoulders just to sink into the floor, allowing your neck to relax, it's quite a good way of just letting go of any tension. Now what I'm going to do in this position is I'm just going to allow my head to drop to the side. So I'm just gently going to rotate my head. I'm just going to let my head fall over to one side. Now if possible with this, you want to try not to fall asleep. If you're very tired, you want to get a timer going and you want to spend anything from 30 seconds to a couple of minutes just relaxing in this position. So you're allowing your head to relax to the side, allowing your shoulders to relax, and we're getting a stretch across the neck. Once again, breathing, staying relaxed. After you've held that for a minute or two, we're going to bring our head back to the center slowly, and then I'm going to let my head fall down to the other side. So the nice thing about this stretch is quite passive. My spine and my neck, my shoulders aren't having to worry about gravity and being active against gravity. So this is quite a nice way to loosen off any tension in the neck that would normally be maintained by the fact that you're having to work against gravity to create posture. So once again, just breathing in, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, allowing it to go from side to side. So you can do this again for another minute or two and then back to the center, and you can do another round of it. If you want to, you can take your head slightly off axis, so you can drop your chin down closer to your chest and allow it to come down. You can lift your head up slightly and again relax your head there. So you can do a couple of different stretches on each side. And what I'd say is whatever angle you have your head on one side, try and adopt the same angle on the other side and try and do it for the same length of time. So if you were doing it with your head up here in this position, maybe you do it for a minute on one side, you do it for a minute on the other side. On the next stretch, I'm going to bring my chin down lower. So I'd do a minute on this side. I then come across my chin down low on the other side. Okay, lastly, I'm just going to take my hands, I'm going to cradle my head. And I'm just gently going to use my arms just to rotate my head and move my head just gently. So I can gently allow my head to move forwards and backwards, side to side. And I'm just letting it move and just trying to assist the movement with my hands. So I'm just getting rid of any stress and tension once again that might have built up over the time, or if you've got a particularly stiff neck and you're using those arms just to allow that tension to go and disappear. So after doing this, what I'm going to do is slowly get yourselves up. And if you can do this, like I say, every other day, it's a great thing to do just to release any tension that you might find you have in the neck and the shoulders, especially if you do spend like long periods of time working, sitting in front of a computer, and especially if your posture tends to be kind of slumped. It's a really good idea just to give yourself that bit of a break every now and again to open up the shoulders, give your neck a bit of a move around. Long driving, anything that involves you being slumped and you find you're getting a tight neck, have a go at doing these exercises every other day and see how you get on. Please leave any feedback you've got for this video. Have a lovely day, take care of yourselves and keep it